Okay, so today we are going to look at our CSQ1 from BOP. All right, so let's look at the high order question. So I'm going to focus on the high order question. So first question, the aim question, which is question C. So let us look at the question. So ask assess relative importance of internal factors and external factors in explaining Peru's economic slowdown. All right, internal factors, all right, things within the control of the economy in Peru. External factors, factors that are outside of Peru's control. So we're asked to look at the relative importance. So this question here asks you to assess. So this question requires you to look at the relative importance of these various factors. Various factors, be it internal, be it external factors, in explaining the economic slowdown. All right. So this is our question analysis. So you are asked to rank the relative importance of internal versus external factors. All right, which one is the most important factor in explaining Peru's slowdown? Okay, so right now when we talk about economic slowdown, okay, I hope you by now would actually be able to understand that when we say economic slowdown, we are talking about the situation whereby your GDP, all right, or your RNY is actually increasing, but at slower rate, because that's what a slowdown here is. So you want to be explaining about factors. So you got to identify factors that suggest, okay, Peru's slowdown. Why is Peru actually slowing down? So you have to look at both internal factors and external factor. Okay. So what is meant by an economic slowdown? I think this one I've just explained, which is this part here. Okay, the relationship between internal and external factors. So internal, as I mentioned, is something within the control, something that happened within the economy of Peru itself. External is something that happened outside of Peru's economy. So you are asked to explain one or two ways. Identify and explain one or two factors. The internal factors. Sorry, I think this is a typo. This one should be internal. This one is external factors. Okay, and then evaluation require you to rank which factor is the most important of all those that you mentioned. So if you look at extract 3 actually shares with you a bit of information about Peru. I think you can see the title suggesting that there's trouble brewing in Peru. So if we zoom in into the second paragraph, you can see how the slowdown in Peru. Okay, down here they say economic activity has shown a poor performance, mainly as a result of 3 factors. So what are the 3 factors? First is your private consumption has slowed down. So SNI increased but slower rate. And what is that due to? Due to lower dynamism in the labor market. Okay, and also we have food price rising. This is 1, this is 2, food price rising. Okay. Another part, okay, you can see here, they mention about how biggest threat to financial stability is a sharp slowdown in China. So I think you can see how actually Peru, one of Peru's key exports is your copper, and China actually make use of about 40% of the world's copper, has seen its slowest GDP growth. So this slowdown inevitably will impact upon Peru. Okay, so this one you can see, I think it's quite clear this is an internal factor. Down here and down here, they are external factor. Okay, but of course that's not all. If you look at the lower paragraph, you can see how there's actually this part here, productivity. Okay, this productivity improved only by a bit. And this actually has impacts in terms of how fast Peru can actually grow. Because if you have increase in your productivity, your fast rate of productivity growth, you can actually see that this can bring about greater growth. If productivity is slow, you see as suggested here, it lags behind Asia. Alright, this can have impact because your LRAS only increased by a small extent. And all these are possible reasons for you to explain your various factors. So it's really down to you identifying, is it internal, is it external, and elaborate. Alright, so I hope I don't give too much of the answer away, so I leave it to you to go and try that question. Next, we move on to, if I'm not wrong, I think this is the high order question, last question. So we look at discuss the effectiveness of the various policies mentioned in the extract in dealing with the above problem. So this question quite straightforward, policy question. So you got to identify the policies. Okay, so what are the policies? What are the problems as well? So if you look at the extracts, okay, you identify what are some of these policy. If I'm not wrong, you can actually see fiscal, you can also see supply side policy. Do these policies actually help to tackle the economic slowdown? All right. Sorry, I think there's a mistake with this. You give me a moment. Okay, so I apologize. Okay, I think there's some technical error. Okay, so just now I was talking until this schematic plan part. Okay, so this question here, you need to talk about dealing with the problem. So you need to, in your introduction, identify what the problems are. So if you look at extract 2, I think quite clearly you can see it's high unemployment and worsening trade balance. So you have the challenges of trying to address these problems. So having to address these problems, you cannot just use one policy and then just hope to achieve both low unemployment as well as favorable BOP. What you need to be mindful of, you need to be mindful of the possible conflicts, possible clash of your policies. So this is here. All right, I think as I mentioned earlier, we identified that you have your fiscal policy and your supply side policy. So you have fiscal and supply side. So thesis, you'll talk about how fiscal policy, how it works, how your supply side policy, how it works, the effectiveness of your policy. Antithesis, you'll talk about the limitations of these policies in the particular context. So evaluation, how do you go about? I think one area you want to look at is possibly in order for these policies to be effective, what are considerations to be mindful of? All right, so I hope that you're actually able to do, because this question here quite straightforward. It's just that instead of usual one problem, right now you have two problems. So I hope you can try this out and then we'll go through in class. All right, so if you have any questions, do feel free to let me know. Thank you.